heard what the master teacher said from Uganda, but I feel that it is inappropriate that since we as descendants of slaves are not together, to welcome or include descendants of slave masters. And I just want to know, since that was said, that we're going to, be open and welcoming everyone. And I'm 63 years old, and I've been an integrationist. And I just feel that it's just something that I'm not prepared to consider. So I'm just going to.
Okay. Well, let me try to give my rendition, and you can give yours.
Okay.
I love it. The universe is grand, great. Okay. I'll go back to. I'll just skip back a little bit. Okay. When I had my cancer, okay, I had to make some decisions about whether I wanted to live or die. That's the first stage in healing cancer, because one has to, first of all, conceive that if you create a disease that has a potential of removing you from the dimension, that there's a part of you that don't want to be here. Okay, so I had to get real clear that there was something in some part of me that was real busy doing something that I didn't know nothing about. So I realized that I was suffering from schizophrenia. These diseases are all schizophrenia because we don't know these other bodies that we have. So I had to, first of all, decide if I wanted to be here. And when I decided I wanted to be here, then you've got to decide why. Because you always have to go back to the purpose. Because if you decide for the wrong reason that you want to be here, I don't care what you do, you're leaving. Okay, so as I looked at that, I realized that there was not much really to keep me on the planet because of what my ancestors had left me. So I came into a couple of realizations. Is that, first of all, I've seen how these diseases, which are states of misconsciousness, really, have totally devastated physical bodies that are divine, magnificent creations. The physical body is the most wonderful thing I have ever been exposed to. And because of my respect for the Creator, I refuse to give my body back as a bag of bones full of tumors and all distorted. Because my parents taught me that at least if you use something to somebody else, you should give it back like you got it. So my thing was that I had to heal myself just out of respect for the Creator. So I had to, and my thing was that, I got to stop this disease process, and then if I want to be out of here, I know about people who can teach you to leave your body in 24 hours, completely sever the silver cord, and you're out of here. But the corpse should basically not look like it's something that you hated, because that's what all these diseases really are about. So in the process of wanting to heal myself, I realized that there was a lot of issues that actually I was carrying that were handed down to me ancestrally that were totally antagonistic to universal truth. Okay, I am not a descendant of slaves. I am a manifestation of the Creator. That was what I had to first learn. I am a manifestation of the Creator. Now, we have to get to grips here because my healing taught me a lot of things. It was like, now, first of all, for the information that I needed to be able to change my frequency, I could not go to my own people and get it. So the whole time I spent healing myself, I was with all other different races. I studied with the Orientals, Native American Indians. I studied with Caucasians because based on them being on purpose, they had the information that I needed to bring myself whole. Now, I was like, well, wow, that's real interesting because now I'm standing here, I've got melanin, I'm African descent. The Creator creates nothing that doesn't have a reason for being. So now what is the purpose for my own folks? And that was like a real big quest that I had to go out and find out because I was really asking for what my own reason for being was because that's how I got sick, being not on my own purpose. And so when I realized the fact that, first of all, everything has a reason for being. It has its own special gift or talent, etc. That when you are 100% dedicated in being that you were created to be, there is nothing that can create a limitation in your life. Nothing. There's just nobody that can basically alter the pattern of life that I choose to live because that's in my covenant. Now, see, this gets into some other metaphysical things that perhaps you all might have to think about, but everything comes here under covenant. There are frequencies of energy, which are laws that have been imbued to you that are actually permanently there and must give you what you're supposed to have in this dimension. So if you want to talk about it, commanding that you know is your birthright, you can use that term if you want. But understanding that when you're on purpose, in your covenant, it says that whatever you desire must be given to you, not can it and hope and not wish. When you understand who you are, you don't even talk about wishing and hoping, because that's the person who don't know who they are and they don't know their covenant. When you are on purpose, you command by right of the universe that you are asking for X. And all you have to do is just continue to be on purpose. And it will come knocking on the door or through the telephone or in the mail or be air delivered, all kind of ways, when you understand who you are. And that's why when people talk about I'm hoping for this and I'm wishing for that, they haven't gotten it yet as to how this thing is hooked up. So my thing of it is that I realized that everything had a purpose. So I started looking at what are different races' purposes. Caucasians are collectors of data. Their circulatory system is directly created for that. They have a well-developed deep circulatory system that immediately feeds the brain. They have maximum amount of blood supply and oxygen to the brain at all times. So that's why they are able to basically observe and record precisely how things are. They are not, however, decision makers on how that data that they have is to be integrated with other things. They do not have that gift and capacity, which is why we have the problems that we have now on planet Earth, because they have attempted to be solution makers and to apply data that is inappropriate because they have limited perceptive abilities. The Asians are meticulous and have the capacity to truly understand balance and to recreate the same thing 1 sextillion times, and it never alters in dimension. That is their gift. So if you need a trillion or something for somebody, you give it to them and let them reproduce it, and it will always be the same. You could never tell the mother clone. The Native American Indians are the keepers of the laws that govern this planet. If you want to know what's happening on planet Earth and how it interacts with everything else, they are the ones that will tell you what the deal is. They will give you all the laws and tactics for you to be able to master this planet. That's why their teachings are so important. Because we are first committed by our own choice in having a physical body that we are here to master this dimension. And so even though we might know astronomy and all these other things, etc., if you are looking up and you're not paying attention to what's going on here, you will get knocked out of this dimension. So the first commitment is that you have to master what's happening here on planet Earth. Now, the African, to my understanding and how it's been revealed to me, is very interesting. Because we are truly the regenerators of the life force energy for this dimension. And everybody knows that. So whatever color they are, they always come to us for regeneration and renewal of life force energy. They call it soul. So it's not our necessity to have to be the library. And it's not our necessity to have to recreate everything over and over again. It is our necessity for us to actually continue to resonate at a pure quality, to imbue everything with the life force energy so it can maintain its proper frequency. So that's why understanding what melanin is so important, because melanin is the first original superconductor. And everything has to have it to be able to recapture, to recirculate the life force energy through its own essence. Even Caucasians have melanin. The key is how much. And that is one of the limitations that they have to deal with not understanding how all this data applies to everything else. Because melanin is the solidified manifestation of all light in this dimension. So you have to understand that melanin is TV, it is radio, it is infrared, it is ultrasound, it is cosmic rays, it is radiant heat, it is all of those manifestations of light. And honestly, if you are a walking manifestation of all that light, you truly know where everything should go and how it should be. And if you are only able to actualize only a few frequencies of the life force energy, UV, infrared, ultraviolet radiation, etc., you cannot be a decision maker. And so this is why the whole issue of everybody learning who they are and honoring themselves physically, because their bodies, they created themselves for a particular reason. You know, it's nothing about inferiority, superiority, because you chose your body. So if you came here to be white, if you came to